Yes, we have a audio recording.
Great. Audio recording confirmed. Next is the video recording active.
And before
Please
time
confirm.
to start, please get focused on the session.
I'm working on that now, not confirmed.
Got it. Video recording not confirmed yet. Let me know once it's ready. Next is the transcription or dictation active. Please confirm.
No, not active.
Thanks for the update. We'll hold on until all three, audio, video, and transcription, are fully confirmed. Let me know as soon as they're ready.
Okay, so I think we are good on the the video now. Now I was gonna see if we could get full captions translated into Spanish. I was thinking that would be pretty cool, but that might take some extra effort. So far I don't see it working. Show captions, translation to Spanish.
That sounds like a great idea for later. No worries. Let's make sure the video recording is confirmed as active first. Are we good on that now? Got it. So video recording. Now let's confirm the transcription or dictation. Is that active now?
Yes, we have transcription and dictation, and we have captions, live captions with Spanish translation. I'm feeling like after Bad Bunny, like Spanish may be taking over in the global language arena, since we have basically, I think Trump is actually doing bad globally for English in general, and that English is actually starting to slide in that after the Bad Bunny global. Well, we're still going to speak in English.
Got it. We'll keep it in English for now.
For now, yes.
Let's move forward by making sure everything is still on track.
Yes.
We were confirming transcription. All right, we'll keep that in mind. Let me know if there's any update on the transcription status.
Transcription is ready. It's good. So we are good on transcription. Flo, we're good on transcription.
Confirmed. Transcription is good to go. Moving on to the next checklist item. Are we set with the initial timer setup?
Yeah, I can do the initial timer. So we have until 12 minutes, so we have 11 minutes. No, we have 12 minutes, 9 minutes left.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So Flo, what's after the timer? Got the timer set.
Next is check-ins. Let me know once everyone is ready and checked in.
All right, I'm gonna check in first. So, Jay, I'm in California. He, him. And I have been doing pretty well. It's been a, busy couple days. But the biggest things for me is I've been working on taxes, I've been working on finances, I've been working on all the AI modules, I've been working on all the social media. The social media is so close to getting set up, so we should actually be doing outreach soon, which is exciting. Also, we have the Mars session coming up in a March 12th, I think, maybe a little later, mid-March. March alignment starts, so it's going to be exciting. And we're going to be starting outreach for that. And basically it happens once a year, and it's pretty good value for people to show up on. So besides that, on the strike, we got another meeting on Sunday. Instead of watching the Super Bowl, we've worked on the strike charter for California, and it's coming together really nicely. If we want to go over it, it's pretty exciting. So that is moving forward well. So Flo, I don't know if you'd like to summarize what I said. That'd be helpful.
Got it. You're in California, busy with taxes, finances, AI modules, and social media setup. Outreach is close to starting. There's a Mars session mid-March that happens yearly, and you're prepping for that. Also, you worked on the strike charter over the weekend instead of watching the Super Bowl, and it's coming along well. Let me know if I missed anything.
Perfect. That's good. Okay. Let's see. Stale Fruit Loops turn to check in. And I'm going to copy this. Hi, I'm Stale. I've been working on the tech team and finding an alternative social platform for GSUS just as a contingency when Discord implements the Face ID, digital ID stuff. Well, we can certainly talk about that. So lots of potential topics. We've got AI, we've got Mars, we've got Strike, Charter, we've got alternative communication platforms.
1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, relax.
Yes, breathing, very important, very good. So, yes, cool. The Discord stuff is good. And there's definitely possibilities of Matrix. Did you have a number? No number. It's alright though. All good. Can add the number later if you want. Alright. So, let's let... so, Flo, do you want to summarize what Stale checked in?
Sure. Stale checked in about working on potential communication platforms, including Discord, Matrix, and some digital ID integration. That's the summary. Let me know if you'd like more details.
Well, actually, he doesn't want digital ID integration. Hey, Not Too Serious, would you like to check in? We're doing name, number, pronouns, what you've been working on. Anything else you want to add or share?
No, actually, I was just checking out. I didn't know what meeting this was, so I just wanted to check in, observe. I thought we were having the NorCal meeting at 7.
Yep, the NorCal meeting is at 7, indeed. So
Okay,
we can discuss scheduling as well. That is another potential discussion item, scheduling, because we could consider moving this. So we moved this from Friday. This is our weekly Strike Coalition public recorded broadcast meeting. So, just want to make sure you confirm that you are down to be recorded and broadcast and all that. Not Too Serious?
So I guess I will be on at 7.
Okay, so you're gonna take off?
Yeah.
Come back? Okay, yeah, this is the Strike Coalition call for like all the public collaboration, organizing for Strike Coalition, and just basically supporting any and all kinds of strikes, and including the general strike, which is one of the strikes that we're supporting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I will do my best to make it today, but I do have a lot of other stuff going on, including this, and
Of course.
there is the charter is coming well, but I'll
That's
try
partly
to
why
send a
I'm not
check-in.
staying.
Exactly, yeah, because we got so much going on. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Take care.
Talk to you later.
Ciao. So it looks like Stale is an 8. Wow, that's really high. Cool. All right, so Not Too Serious is not showing up, which is fine. So next we have Flo. So Flo, do you want to check in? Give us a number from 1 to 9.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And Flo, if you can also let us know what you've been working on and how you've been doing and any priorities for today's topics, would be great. Flo, are you able to check in and give us a number from 1 to 9, how you've been doing, what you've been working on, any topics or priorities you have for today?
Sure. Happy to check in. I'm at about a 7 today, feeling pretty good. I've been focusing on helping with communication platforms and making sure we have a solid session flow. For today, I'd prioritize confirming scheduling and aligning on any Strike Coalition updates, since it seems those are key. Let me know what else you'd like to cover.
Cool. Thank you, Flo. Cool. So we are good.
You're welcome.
We are good on our check-ins. I'm gonna. Oh, so what's next on the checklist, Flo?
Next up is setting the rhythm for the session. Let's confirm the general pace and structure for our discussion so we stay on track. Are you good with a balanced rhythm, or would you prefer something faster or slower? Let me know your preference.
I think you might be referring to when we're gonna the stop time and things like that. I don't know, but we already did rhythm. So Flo, I think we already did the rhythm. So what's next after that?
Got it. Thanks for the confirmation. Next on the checklist is ensuring the recordings are active. Are we all set with recording and transcription for this session?
Yes,
Let
we
me know
already
if
did the
that's
recording
confirmed.
and transcription. So the recording and transcription is good. What's next? What are the next two? Flo. What are the next two, Flo? We have the transcription.
Perfect. Recordings confirmed. The next step is the initial timer, making sure
We
we're
already did
aware
the
of how
initial
long
timer.
we plan to go today.
We already did the initial timer as well, so I think you're just gotta go forward a little bit more here, Flo.
Got it. Thanks for the update. Next is policy verification.
Ooh.
Let's confirm that everyone's aligned with the session's policies, like recording consent and participation guidelines. Are we all good on policy alignment for this session? Let me know, and then we'll move forward.
For 30 seconds.
All right, so we're gonna do a little policy verification. We also are stretching. We have Mindelan. Can you check in, or do you want to do text, or how are you doing? So verification. We got UI agent. Yes. Recordings are going. Yes. Indexing. Yes. Notes link. Yes. Time rhythm. Yes. Storytelling is going. So we're good on policy verification. So does everyone understand this is a public, broadcast, transparent, collaborative meeting? Of course, because of that, very few people want to show up. So I am all about broadcasting as far and as loud as we can as a form of protest against all of the things going on in the world. So yes, do you understand for sure, Stale Fruit Loop? So Mindelan, if you want to check in, this is your chance. If you want to say anything, or you can text or whatever. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and go into our topics. And you're welcome to just observe. So, and if anyone has a address or anything, can send you tokens and stuff like that for participating. So, Stale Fruit Loop, do you have any topics that you want to add to the list? Just add them if you want. So right now we have, AI kind of taking over. For me, this is a big one in terms of like dealing with the bigger picture of everything. We have the Mars session, which we talked about, which is going to be in April, end of March. Then we have the Strike Charter for California. We have communications platforms, which is more of like the tech side. And we have scheduling. I would like to talk about alternative platforms for communications. Is that right? So the communication platforms. So let's add that for topic 2. I wanted to check in quickly on scheduling. It should take like 6 minutes to just quick check in on scheduling. And then we can go ahead and do the communications platforms. So communications platforms, scheduling. So communication platforms maybe 24 minutes. All right, so and Mindalyn, if you have any other possible
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
If you have any other topics, just let us know. For the communications platform, I think the priority here is alternatives to Discord. Cool. All right. So any objections to our topics, Flo? Do you want to go over our topics and see if there's any objections?
Let's quickly review the topics. We've got AI and the bigger picture, the Mars session in late March or April, the strike charter for California, checking in on scheduling for about 6 minutes, and then communication platforms.
Yes, Flo. So we're talking about the proposal being the first topic, scheduling, for 6 minutes, and the second topic, communication platforms, for 24 minutes. That sound good, Flo? Oh, here we go. We have...
Sounds good. Let's confirm the first topic is scheduling for 6 minutes, and then communication platforms for 24 minutes. Let me know if we're all set with that before we move on.
Okay. Yeah, so if there's any objections, now's the time to say it. So under our models, we build consensus, including the agenda. If you control the agenda of what's being discussed, you control everything. So most groups, don't try to get consensus on the agenda. I think it's very important. So Mindalyn said, hello, I'm brand new to all this, but happy to observe and learn as I go. So I just want to make sure it's clear that the Strike Coalition, if we want to do Strike Coalition, orientation and, Q&A, we can do that. And also there's the general strike, GSUS, so we can talk about GSUS as well. If you have questions, just let us know. So just to make sure it's very clear, the Strike Coalition in this session, this is a live broadcast, transparent, open session for everybody. Not particularly popular with GSUS because of the recording aspect and the AI and everything. So this is not official or part of GSUS in any way, but we support all types of strikes, including the general strike, and so that is sort of what we're doing. And obviously, it's not like I know what I'm doing here either. I mean, if I knew what I was doing, there'd probably be like 20 people here, right? So we're all working together to try to build our new world of how our democracy should function, how our systems and economics should function, and representation of everything that we want to see in the world. And it's a lot of work. So here we are. So I don't think there's any objections to our topics. So let's go into topic 1. So topic 1 is scheduling.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So that's the rhythm. Very important to breathe. Super key. So also drinking water is super key too. Water here. So for the scheduling, I feel like it might be good to switch to Tuesday, but I know you said that you liked the Wednesday, so I'm fine with any day you want to do Stale Fruit Loop. Like, if you show up, I'm here and we're good to go. And eventually we'll find people who can talk. For now, it's fine to not be talking. So do we want to option 1 is stick with Wednesday, and option 2 would be to go to Tuesday. Option 3 would be another day. So I was leaning a little towards Tuesday just because of the overlap with California. So Flo, maybe you can do a quick review of what we just said in terms of the scheduling. Flo, can you do a quick review of what we just said with the scheduling?
Sure. We talked about scheduling and considered a few options. Option 1 is to stick with Wednesday. Option 2 is to move to Tuesday. And option 3 would be another day. You mentioned leaning slightly toward Tuesday because of the overlap with California. Right now, we're weighing those options. Does that sound correct?
Correct, yeah. So unless we have consensus on changing the day, we're going to stick with this day every week. Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, okay, so you said I'm fine with Wednesdays, Fridays, and the weekend. So the Fridays was difficult because it overlapped with the community meetings. So I think this is much, much better. Let's take a quick look at what's going on right now. So you can see there are 2 discussions going on right now in GSUS. Let's see what it says. I think there's like a Colorado meeting. So we have Arizona chapter meeting and the Vibe meetings. So I think the Vibe is like every day or something. I don't know what that is. And then we have the California meeting. Cool. So I think we should just stick with Wednesday then. Also, we have a new person. We have Keegan. So Keegan, this is a public, transparent, broadcasted session. So if you want
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So we just want to make sure that you are in consent to being recorded and broadcast. You're welcome to check in. You're welcome to say hi. No one else here is able to speak with their audio, so it's me and Flo, and which is our AI agent, and then you can speak or check in or give topics or vote or whatever you'd like. So this is the Strike Coalition. We support any and all types of coalition strikes, including the general strike. So, and you can also type if you're not able to speak.
Thanks for confirming the schedule. So we'll keep Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as the session day for now, unless there's any future consensus to change. Let me know if we're ready to move on to the next topic or focus area.
Yeah. So you can see how difficult it is to find people who want to be involved in something that's like live broadcast and transparent and open and collaborative. So most people like, private communications, which is fine. No problem with that. We support private communications as well. But that's why if Stay Healthy Live, you want to come to this session, like Wednesday this is my number 1 top priority for sure. Cool. So I think we have agreement on that. Let's go on to topic 2. So topic 2, if there are any other questions on topic 1, just let me know. So topic 2 is communications. So Flo, do you want to give us an overview of communications topic? Flo, do you want to give us an overview of the communications topic?
Sure. Let's confirm the focus and desired outcome for the communications topic. Are we aiming to streamline internal updates, improve outreach, or something else specifically? That way we can track progress and measure results clearly.
So I think our primary goal is actually to look at alternatives to Discord. So let's go over Discord first. So here's Discord. This is the GSUS Discord. There's 2 primary issues. It's just an insane number of channels, absolutely insane. And then that doesn't even include all of the threads and sub-channels. Lots of channels. And then the other issue is that even if you're on like a California server, like we've got the California servers and other servers, they are still like top-down controlled.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
All right, so we are at our break time. Stale Flulu, do you want to take a quick 5-minute break? We try to break at the bottom of the hour and top of the hour. It helps with retention and keeping going and making sure we're taking care of ourselves as human beings, not to mention helping people who have accessibility, thinking stuff, anything. So I'm neurodiverse. This is a neurodiverse safe space, and we create safe space for anyone. That includes making sure everything is transcribed and documented and open and transparent, and like all of that is very important for accessibility for people who it's difficult to just be in a private meeting with no actual transcription and information being presented. And we can actually present things in any language as well. So we can do real-time language translation. So today we have Spanish. Because I think after the Bad Bunny thing, it's basically like Spanish is going to take over as the global language. It's already bigger than English when it comes to first speakers. What do you call it when it's your native tongue? So there's more native tongue Spanish speakers than there are English speakers who are native tongue. And then the only thing bigger than both of those are, of course, the Chinese, right? So let's take a break, 5 minutes, and then when we get back, we can continue with the communication. So Flo, do you want to get us into our break?
Sure. Let's pause for 5 minutes. I'll note the break time and we'll resume with the communications discussion right after. Take a moment to rest and we'll continue soon.
All right. Okay, Flo.
It's 4 o'clock. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
All right, Flo, let's get started.
Sure, let's go step by step with the prep up checklist. First, do we have the session start time confirmed?
All right. So you're saying that you couldn't hear anything, we got it all fixed. Cool, awesome. All right, so Flo, we're in the middle of topic 2. We're doing communication platforms and looking at alternatives to Discord.
Got it. Let's confirm the session reminder. Are all participants aware the session is happening now?
I think we're in 3.2. Flo, I think we're in 3.2 for the topic. Flo, do you know 3.2? Flo, do you know 3.2? All right, no worries. Okay, so still having lots of problems with the AI, but it's still way better than it used to be, that's for sure. So Flo, do you remember 3.2 and what it is?
Yes, 3.2 is the topic timer. We confirm how long we're spending on this topic. How much time do you want to allocate to this discussion on communication platforms alternatives?
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So now we have our topic timer going, and we're just going to go into the topic. So we went over the issues with Discord. Discord is not very friendly for neurodiverse either. Difficult for neurodiverse. So what are some of the alternatives? Alternatives that are talked about the most within GSUS is Matrix, also known as Matrix is also known as Elemental, I believe. Element. So Element is the same. Also, lots of people use Signal. So Signal is very secure and encrypted. So Mindolin saying, Flo, we need you to lock in on where we are right now. We're in the actual topic for communications platforms. But overall, I think one of the biggest problems is just like that this is a custom-made AI from scratch, so we have a lot of feedback coming through.
Pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And then also we have an issue with well, it's actually the same thing. So the feedback is affecting the ability to get the transcription written for the actual AI. So it's waiting for its name to be called. So Flo, are you able to hear us for focusing on the topic?
Yes, I'm here. Let's confirm the focus on communication platform alternatives. Could you clarify the desired outcome for this discussion?
Cool. So we're looking for alternatives to Discord. So the first two alternatives that we went through here are for the Matrix, which is Element. Element and Matrix are like the same thing. One is the root network, and the other is just like one of the skins of that network. Kind of like how Blue Sky is a skin of the decentralized network, which is at protocol, right? So, and there's lots of other examples of decentralized communication systems. So then you have Signal, which is very secure and encrypted. This is decentralized. Signal is not decentralized, it's centralized. So I don't know if there's other ones that we want to look into, but we can certainly consider it. Obviously for us, we use PEP, right? So PEP is our public engagement protocol. So PEP is basically a self-made, self-created, utilizing AI and everything, which is obviously very different, but it's also kind of decentralized because anyone could duplicate it. But yes, so definitely different than the average place. We are currently in the process of listing all of our options. So when we're done, let's see here. Oops. Currently options, so this is from Stale. We are currently in the process of listing all our options. We are done with the checklist of needs and a team is currently building the platform review. A later meeting will be made to collectively decide on the best platform. Cool. So, you know, for me, the way I look at communications is like the best is definitely decentralization, which means how do you empower groups and, you know, groups within a broad decentralized network to function in a way that
Time for breath. Please
decentralized,
stop
right?
and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
It looks like we have Lily. Lily, I don't know if you want to do a check-in or if you are able to speak at all right now. No, everyone mainly is texting, but you are welcome to check in. This is a live broadcast, recorded AI transcribed session. So you know, everyone who's here needs to agree to the recordings and everything like that. But yeah, you're welcome to check in, say hi, let us know if you need anything or help out with the voting or the topics. Right now we're talking about communication platforms and discussing what's going on in the tech team related to GSUS. Okay. So what I was saying in terms of decentralization, since Lily doesn't seem to be able to speak, is, oh, here we go. Lily says, hey, just here to learn, okay with being recorded. Awesome. All right, cool. So let me add that to, if anyone wants to add their Discord handle, I'll also link the, this is Lily. I'll also link our Discord group. So in the Discord, which there's a bigajillion things, I mean, I guess I could just link our other, well, even better, I can just link our website because that makes it simple. So it's just like https://strike.coalition.community. And then it has the link to, you know, all the Discords and everything else. But you can find our communication Discord here as well within GSUS Public Strike Coalition. So I can grab this link and add that as well so everyone has that. Cool. All right. So communications. Oh, and then we also have the PEP, right? So the PEP is where I actually do a lot of communications with everything with the Strike Coalition. And this is where I would love to get us communicating more would be on PEP. So I'll link the PEP communications as well. And obviously the main thing that's different with PEP and what we do is that because the main reason I have to put so much time into building our own platforms is because everything is private and very difficult to integrate with other systems. So that's what's so cool about PEP is that it's every single room has its own RSS feed and we can automatically integrate it with social media and, you know, everything can go to Discord. It can go anywhere you want. It's basically one big huge communication connection across the entire internet with PEP.
Time
There's
to
no
pause.
limitation. Whereas
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Whereas with Discord, if you're stuck in Discord, and that's a lot of social media, like get you stuck inside the Discord, and it just makes it really difficult to get your information out of the platform because everything is purposely forces you to stay stuck in there or pay a lot of money or do whatever, right? Which is why we like decentralized systems and public systems for us, right? So for me, the primary policy is that any group can use any platform in any system for their communications. So for me, that's basically what it comes down to, right? and then that's the most decentralized way. You can also have multiple different types of communication systems, right? Multiple different layers. So people who work really good with Facebook versus people who work good with Instagram versus people who work good with X or whatever. So it's like, I don't particularly like X, but let's say Blue Sky, right? So when you do social media, you typically do multiple social medias because some people aren't on all of the same communication systems, right? Yes. And then how does GSUS have multiple websites? I only know the one website. So you wrote, found interesting and would aid us, especially when GSUS has multiple websites. So if we go to generalstrikeus.com is the only GSUS website I know about. Right? So if you know of other websites, it'd be great to know. For me, that's part of the decentralization. Oh, you're talking about just link trees and stuff like that? Yeah, those are all just like platforms that are kind of linked to the website. There's really just one website. And then there's many different communication platforms, like you're saying. So utilizing different platforms, I think, is good. So then what you're saying is that each group or subgroup is able to decide their own communication systems. So in that context, the tech team's role for me would be to empower each group to cross-communicate between platforms. So that is certainly a lot more difficult, but that's some of the work that I'm going to be working on in the future, is how to do that. Yes, now there's the workspace too. Well, when you're talking about workspace, I'm pretty sure you're talking about Nextcloud, right? Nextcloud? Yeah, so Nextcloud isn't necessarily, it's a document.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, time to stretch. We are human beings, and maybe while we're stretching, Flo, if you could do a summary of like the last 10 or 15 turns and just kind of the overview of everything for the communications.
Sure. We've been discussing decentralized communication approaches, where each group or subgroup can choose their own platforms for communication. You also mentioned using multiple social media platforms to reach people wherever they are. Additionally, we clarified that even though there's only one main website, there are other linked platforms like Nextcloud for documents. The tech team's role is to help these groups communicate.
Flo, did you want to finish?
Sure. Let me wrap up the summary. We covered how the tech team's role is to support communication across different platforms, and that decentralization allows each group to manage their own methods. We also touched on the workspace options like Nextcloud for documents. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to dive into next.
That actually worked really, really well. I've actually not seen the AI in Flow be able to do that before, where it stopped and then it was able to restart right where it left off. So that was pretty cool, actually. So yes, I may be misunderstanding, but
I'm glad that worked smoothly. Let me know if you need any more follow-up, or if there's another.
Okay, Mindolin says, I may be misunderstanding, but by saying decentralized, would users need to adopt new additional technologies? So this really goes into accessibility, right? And again, accessibility. In the model for Strike Coalition is that whatever we agree to is what is addressed, right? So for example, we could propose a proposal for our structure that basically each group can prioritize any communication model, and the tech branch would help and then help build infrastructure to communicate between them, right? So that would be like a proposal. So right now it's just like whatever people want to do is fine, but it's just like what we agree on and get consensus on is what we want to do, right? So in the context of by saying decentralized, would users need to adopt a new additional technology? So accessibility as a definition, which for me is like one of the most important
Time
things.
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Super key to breathe and ground. We get going too fast sometimes. So accessibility really is about access, right? And so if someone is not able to use, let's say, Discord in an empowered way, then they are left out because they don't have they're not accessible to the communications and to what's going on and to participation, right? So for me, there's a lot of accessibility questions. One would be, so having multiple different technologies available for me is an accessibility issue, right? That the accessibility of one technology will always be limiting based on definition, right? There's always going to be someone where that technology doesn't work very well. Just like with us, when we are doing recorded live broadcast, transparent AI transcription, there's tons of people, 90% of people want nothing to do with this, so therefore it's not accessible, right? Which is why we also support private, secure communications in private groups, right? We support both. So you say, yes, accessibility would be primary concern from my perspective. Exactly. We don't want to get rid of Discord. I know some people are like, we should just get rid of Discord, we should get rid of Facebook, we should get rid of all these things, but realistically, in a decentralized model, it's not about getting rid of, it's about accessibility, just building systems that can empower people. And that's the other part of accessibility that becomes problematic, is for me, and again, this is my opinion, which is meaningless without agreement, right? Accessibility really comes down, when we're talking about communications, this comes down to why do we communicate? And for me, the reason is to make decisions and ideally focus on striving towards consensus. So in the Strike Coalition, we are a consensus-based organization. Every policy has been made through years and years of consensus. So sometimes it can take us months, if not years, to make decisions because it's so slow to build consensus, right? So you can still make decisions quicker with majority vote. And this is where we come into discussing the state charter of California, which if we want to get into is very exciting because we're leaning towards a 60% threshold for decision making. But the idea is that meetings and coming and spending time together is about building proposals and about making decisions together. We want to make decisions on demands, when we're going to strike, how we're going to meet our
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Breathing, so key, so key. So making decisions on demands, making decisions on when we're going to start the strike, making decisions on how we're going to meet our mutual aid support and mutual support for each other before, during, and after the strike, right? So for me, accessibility and empowerment and communications are all really the same thing. Because without accessibility, you don't have empowerment. Without being able to communicate, you can't make decisions and you can't access anything, right? So they're all interrelated in my perspective. But that's just me, because other people would think very differently. So we have another 10 minutes on this topic. Well, actually, no, this includes the break. So if we take a 5-minute break, we only have 5 more minutes on this topic. So I think we looked into some of the options. We could do some more research, but it sounds like you guys are also doing research in the tech team in relationship to that. This proposal could be voted on if we want to vote on the proposal. I always think it's fun to vote, but it's not like we need to vote on this proposal. Basically, as a decentralized organization, the Strike Coalition is just that's automatically already the case. But we can clarify our policies and make it even more clear if we wanted Oh, here we go. All right. So Stale Fluid says the tech team has discussed accessibility and one of the main requirements for the new platform. A lot of the tech team, being tech savvy as they are, forget that not everyone knows how to launch a platform with GitHub and everything. Totally, yes, of course. And that's part of what I think is going to happen, is that we're going to get a situation where it sounds like wonderful to switch to Matrix or something like that, but then obviously Matrix is going to have its own difficulties as well for some people. So you're just always going to have pros and cons of each platform. But if we can connect the platforms together, that's what I am going to be working on. For me, this is definitely a tangent, but I don't have too much more to say and no one else talking, so I'll read whatever anyone writes. But the bottom line is that for me, when we're talking about communications, we have an accessibility, we have to go into language. So with the Strike Coalition, everything we do is multi-language and global, right? So right now, everything's being transcribed into both Spanish and English, and we can create a Spanish version of the entire transcript if we want to, or in a summary. So I'll probably just go ahead and do that.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So after the Super Bowl, for me, I would say Spanish is #1 language globally, and then English is #2. And then #3 would be obviously Chinese. There's more Chinese speakers, but the difference of Chinese is that they are more regional, right? It's not really global in the same context, but obviously it's still very important because there's more people who speak Chinese as their native language than any other language. So let's see. So by widening the options for communication, you may be increasing access, but without a centralized core, I feel like the information might be too disparate. Yeah. So whatever matters is one thing, is getting agreement, right? So you can list, like, let's say you list 10 possible platforms. We need to narrow that down and get agreement. So like I would say we could get agreement on like Discord, Matrix, and Signal. Possibly. As like if we just had 3 for like GSUS, let's focus on connecting 3 communication systems together and nothing more. Those would probably be the 3, and then maybe that would be enough. But maybe everyone's like, no, we don't want 3. We only want 1, and we want to agree on Matrix. So anyone can use Discord if they want to, and they can use Signal if they want to, but Matrix is our primary focal point. But yeah, but centralization creates a single point of failure as well. Exactly. So if you only have Matrix, and there's a problem with Matrix, but either way, even if you did focus on Matrix as your primary, Discord's never going away, right? Like, we will have Discord for at least the next 5 years. I mean, there's no way that it's just going to disappear. Because there's literally 20,000 people on the Discord, right? Maybe 25,000 at this point. Yes, but I do like what you're saying about the centralization being an issue. So feel free to keep writing. I was going to finish up with the language stuff. So the language stuff, we have the Spanish, the English, the Chinese, and then the other ones that are important to understand is that in the next couple years, we're looking at a full-scale new AI language. So AI will be communicating in the range of 100 to 1,000 times faster than human communications. That is insane. And so this new AI language and the whole communications behind that is going to need to be considered in relationship to any sort of economic and systems regarding human beings. Because if we don't prepare for that, then we're just missing the whole point. All right, so let's keep reading here. Yes, Discord is not going to disappear, and that has been made very clear by the tech and strategy team. Yeah.
Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
So we're at our break, but let's finish reading all this stuff. So, but yes, exactly. That, like, people get stuck in like, we need one, communication system, and it's just not going to happen in a decentralized organization. People are using Discord, and it's just a reality situation. So if we want to change to something new, that's a great concept, but it needs to be in alignment with decentralization and the values of treating people like human beings, which means that you need to build a new system and bring people into it and invite them and empower people to make that choice with their feet instead of forcing. So as someone who has joined GSUS recently, I find it prohibitively difficult for the average user to get information and get involved. Yes, this is why I created the Strike Coalition, because I do not understand GSUS. I have no idea what's going on. The information is completely difficult to find. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who makes the decisions. I don't know how to get to be involved with it. So I just do my California stuff and then do my own stuff. So yes, you can contact the community support team. That's me, and we'll help you out. So yeah, so Stale Fruit Loop, if you can think of any ways to be working and collaborating with people and empowering people, that would be great. In my experience, I don't quite see that, but we did talk some with Britt, who wanted to set up a cross team meeting and have more of a collaborative space. I don't know too much about the community meeting, which happens on Fridays, which is why we changed this meeting to Wednesdays. But overall, my core issue when it comes to like the three things of accessibility, communications, and empowerment is that we need to be able to address issues, and that does not exist. So I've had issues for over a year now. No one cares. There's nowhere to go. You can't go to a meeting and communicate about it and have a topic and make a proposal, do anything. It's just like, you know, everyone says they don't want structure. No one wants structure in GSUS, but for me, the reality is that that means we have a dark structure. And then people are like, oh, no, we don't, you know? But in reality, it's just like, come on. Are you serious? You know, and so I can show you all the history of like what it means when you say that, oh, there's no structure, when there really is, and that's the tyranny of the structuralist, I think is the Wikipedia article. Tyranny of the structuralist. Anyways, let's take a break, or if people want to check out, we can get started checking out. But Flo, if you want to just kind of summarize the last 5 or 10 minutes, and then we can take a break, or we can go into checking out.
Sure. Over the last few minutes, we discussed the difficulty of accessing information and participation within GSUS, highlighting issues of communication, empowerment, and addressing structural concerns. There was mention of the lack of clear decision-making processes and places to raise issues. Now we can either take a break or move on to checkouts as needed. Let me know what you prefer.
Cool, thank you, Flo. Yes, you know, one of the hardest things is decision making. Even to get a small group of people to even want to make a decision, it can be very difficult. I mean, there's 4 of us here. We have myself, we have Stale, we have Mindalyn, we have Lily. So the 4 of us could make a proposal and try to get agreement on something, but that is very, very difficult to even get started on and what we want to make agreement on.
So if you'd like to focus on forming a proposal now, we can set a clear focus, outline what decision needs to be made, and aim for agreement among the group.
Yeah.
Let me know how you'd like to proceed, or if you'd like to narrow down a specific topic for the proposal.
So, structure is what Mindalyn, I keep wanting to think Mandalorian. And I would say that the state charter for California is so exciting and such a brand new, exciting project. And it just like builds a very clear and definitive structure that people can get around. So if we wanted to do a topic on that, I'd be super down to stay longer and kind of go over it and see what that is. Otherwise, we can also check out. So let's read what Stale Fruit Loop has said. And then if people want to, we can continue on with a new topic, or we can take a break. So let's see what Stale Fruit Loop said. That's why my role is within the decision making about alternative platforms. When the discussion started, everyone was scrambling. When did the discussion start? That would be my question, because people started, in my experience, people have been talking about switching to Matrix for almost like a year and a half, if not longer than that, before I even came, you know, because I've been here for over a year. Everyone was scrambling. Too many ideas on the table without order. That's called prioritization. So you brainstorm and then you prioritize, right? So when you have a process, it's a process of decision making, and we can go over that within the California Charter because it's included in it. Decision-making process. So you always start with brainstorming first, and then you prioritize, and then you create a proposal from your top priority. What happens in GSUS is that you always skip.
And before time to start, please get focused on the session.
You always just skip to someone just creating a random proposal, and you skip the brainstorming, you skip the prioritization, and then it's basically whoever has the will to just speak the loudest and get their proposal in front of the most people seems to win. And that is not democracy, and that's not really a functional way of running an organization, and certainly not a grassroots organization. So the discussion started on the weekend when we got news about the Discord update. Okay, yeah, so again, this is the problem, is that people have been proposing the same thing and presenting it to GSUS for over a year. But you just don't know that because you haven't been around and you don't know what's going on with all the other people who've come to the tech team and given up because nothing ever seems to happen. You make a proposal, you make another proposal, you make a fourth proposal, a fifth proposal, and then they go nowhere because no one's actually empowered to do anything, right? So we're out of time on this topic. I would love to go over the California Charter if you want to, or we can check out, or we can take a break. It's really whatever people want to do. The California Charter would probably take at least 12 minutes, but I would put 18 minutes, so it would be a whole nother segment to review and ask questions about the structure and processes, policies, give input. Input. That sounds great. We can talk about the charter. Okay, so let's just jump right into the charter. We'll do one last topic, and then we can think about next steps, going into next week and such. I think that if the California Charter gets approved in California, it could be brought to national. But I don't know, because I've been trying to bring things to national for a long time. So are there any objections to topic 3? Give a minute to see if there's an objection. So, Flo, do you want to give a overview of topic 3 proposal here for the California State Charter and reviewing and asking questions, structure and process, policies, input?
Sure. Let's confirm the focus and priority. The topic is reviewing the California State Charter, asking questions, and giving input on structure, process, and policies. We're setting the timer for 18 minutes. I'll note the initial index now and keep track of any inputs given. Let me know when everyone is ready and we'll dive right into the review.
Well, that worked way better with Flo. That was great.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Cool. All right. So we have I think there's 3 documents. So California General Strike, California General Strike. Yeah. And then we want to go to the structural proposal notes. This is the most recent. Okay. So I do want to go, this is our notes from the last session, but I do want to make sure we go over the previous existing proposals because I don't think they're here. Yeah, these are the new proposals. Okay. So let's start with the existing ones because it makes sure, so this is our previous proposals, and then we have new proposals. So we have a decisions matrix. This is from the Super Bowl, like we boycotted the Super Bowl and worked on the California Charter for the future of striking across the world, right? So decision matrix, and we have decision processes were the 2 things that we worked on Sunday. So let's go through the previous proposals first, because these are like, it's good to get the general picture. So this is the California General Strike, and like also let me actually make this really big. If I make it big, you should be able to see it. Yeah, that's good. All right. So I think I should also just keep the translation there. All right. So the overall proposal is this: to unite California into a single unified statewide organization with local chapters that are empowered, along with empowered individuals, which can collectively control the state organization and ensure accountability. So California has been separated into 3 separate GSUS chapters. So if you go to the General Strike website, and you go to the chapters and you go to California, you can see how there's California NorCal, California SoCal, and California Central. And so we have been top down, split apart as a state into 3 separate chapters. There's a clear reason for it, obviously, because there's so many people in California, but it has fragmented and disrupted the ability for California to unite and be collaborative. And so the proposal basically is going against the split up and fragmentation top down from GSUS, and instead to unite. The next part is the structure. To establish the California General Strike Membership Group as the primary decision-making authority for any General Strike California decision that affects all members. So this does 2 things. 1, it empowers a membership.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Breathing, super key. Lots going on here. All right. So again, this took us hours and hours. I mean, we've been working on this for at least 2 months, and I've been working on this a whole year before that. So we're making progress, but it's very, very slow. But it takes a lot of time to build consensus, right? So again, it does 2 things. 1 is it builds the membership and empowers people as members. Once you are actually a member, you have rights. Those rights cannot be taken away from you because you are a decision maker in the membership of the organization, of the membership group, right? So those are the primary things that it does. From there, it also relates to the fact that you're centralizing decision making, which in essence is the key to decentralizing power. So if you want to decentralize and distribute power, you can't do that if no one knows where to go to make decisions. So the best way to disempower a community is to not allow them to know when and where decisions are being made, and not allowing people to unite to make decisions in a centralized location. Because again, without centralized decision making, there is no decentralized distribution of power. All right, so I can give many examples of decentralized systems, including Bitcoin and crypto and voting systems and all these things of how centralized decision-making systems build the infrastructure for decentralized systems and infrastructure. So in terms of how you keep it from being top-down and controlled and you keep it decentralized, you talk about the sub-teams. So the key thing here is that there's both official and unofficial sub-teams, and they can break off and create their own membership. So official teams can go against the membership if they choose to break off and become unofficial. So here's an example. And I use the example of the media team because that's the one that came up in GSUS before. So the official decision for the media team is to turn over the password to the website and the social media to the new webmaster, which has been chosen by the new membership. The membership represents all of California and all of the local chapters, and they want a different media team with a different social media and webmaster. And the current webmaster and the current media team refuse to turn it over and do what the membership is asking for. And in a decentralized system, that is perfectly fine. It is within the policy. So in this case, the membership would have to create a new official media team with a new official website and new official.
Close your eyes. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And new official social media accounts. And then they would continue, the old media team would continue as the unofficial media team. And that is the foundation to decentralization, that the membership cannot control the assets of the subgroups. And at any time, if they don't agree with what's going on in the membership, they can disassociate and disconnect from that membership. So it's a decentralized system. Whereas in a hierarchical centralized system, the membership controls the subgroups and can dissolve them. And in this case, the membership has no control over subgroups and cannot dissolve them. And in fact, if they try to attack a subgroup, the subgroup can just spin off and disassociate from the membership whenever it wants to, and the membership has no rights to try to continue to attack that subgroup or get assets within that subgroup. Okay? So the membership also has the ability to stay flat, or it can empower co-chairs or executive directors or like, board or a leadership group, and that's just up to the members, right? The members can say, we just want everyone organized flat, we all make decisions together, or people, if there's majority or in this case supermajority, can choose to empower a leadership group, right? So those are the primary proposals: uniting California and establishing a centralized decision-making structure to decentralize and distribute power with a decentralized team structure. So I'm going to stop there, see if there's questions. That is really the core of the California proposals and structures. It has not been approved yet, but basically 90% of the leadership is behind it, if not more. I mean, I think we're basically have consensus, but we haven't finalized everything. So that is basically where we are. So if there's any questions, bring up. I can continue. We still have a few more minutes to just continue with the rest of the proposals, but I'm going to go a lot faster because this is the important part, right? Understanding the structure and how it functions and why you would empower a membership and what it means to be a member is so important, all right? So our threshold for California is 60%. That means that we need to have 60% of the people who vote approve a proposal if we cannot strive for consensus, if we cannot get a consensus. So we always strive for consensus first, hear everyone, but then minimally require a 60% majority unless we're talking about decision making. So this particular proposal for decision making on how we make decisions just requires majority. And this is important because we don't want a minority to be able to destroy and halt everything within the organization. And so that is a nuance for
Time
nerds.
to stretch. Please stop.
Ooh,
Stand
stretch.
up and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's do a quick stretch. Oh, maybe Flo, you could do a quick summarization of everything we went over so far with the California Charter while we're stretching.
Sure. In summary, the proposal.
Flo, do you want to continue the summary of the California Charter, what we talked about so far?
Sure. The core idea is to unite California into one statewide organization with local chapters and empowered individuals. Currently, California is divided into 3 separate chapters: NorCal, SoCal, and Central. The proposal aims to undo this top-down fragmentation and create a unified structure. The key principle is decentralization, where subgroups control their own assets and can choose to disassociate if needed. The membership can remain flat or empower a leadership group based on a supermajority vote. For decision-making, they aim for consensus, but require at least 60% approval if consensus isn't possible. The goal is to prevent a minority from blocking progress. That's the core of the proposal so far.
Great. So that took a little bit longer than 30 seconds. That's fine. So quorum was going to be 30 individuals. You need NorCal and SoCal with 30 individuals and a minimum of 5 locations or regions that are approving it. We currently have 7 regions of California. And so that's our quorum in terms of, and then once you all vote, then you're striving for consensus. And then if of the people who vote, you need a minimum of 60% of each subgroup, right? So if you need, for example, LA, you would need 60% of all LA members to also vote yes. Okay. The protocol is very, very important. We have chosen a 5-scale protocol, which means that just a simple yes, no is not enough. So you have a block, which is a super no. You have a normal no, which is like a dissent. And then you have standing aside, which is kind of like the middle ground. And then you have willing consensus that you support and you're like a yes, you're willing to go along with it, but you're not excited about it per se. And then you have yes, like super support, like the 5 out of 5, the highest level. Okay, the strike coalition, in the coalition, we use a 10 scale instead of a 5 scale. But the 5 scale is really the minimal that functions with consensus.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And the reason is because of the block, right? The block allows you to say, no, I absolutely am not willing to move forward with that. And it's very important to understand this. If someone blocks, they must provide a reason for why the proposal goes against the mission, purpose, or values of the organization. If they just say like, no, I block and I have no reason for it and I don't care, their block is irrelevant. They can't block something that they don't have a reason for why it goes against the mission, purpose, and values of the organization. That is a very important part of consensus. From there, we talk about sociocracy and the sociocracy principles of effectiveness, consent, experimentation, improvements, localization, transparency, and accountability. We talk a lot about sociocracy in GSUS, but we don't actually talk about the principles and enacting the principles of accountability and transparency and actual experimentation and improvement, where we are actually reviewing past decisions and evolving and changing our minds. That's an essential component of sociocracy that is not applied. Obviously, we're supposed to be building consensus and building consent. This is not as important within the management structures, but it's very important in the legal structures and the membership. So that's everything we have from the first round. And then the second round is just the two things. We have the matrix, which is basically on the types of decisions that require lots of overall people involved would be state, global, national decisions. The more people that affect the people across the entire state, right? And then the seriousness and impact of the decision. If there's a very serious, impactful decision, you need to tend towards more people being involved. And then controversial issues. Something that's a small decision but gets very controversial can be escalated to a higher level where more people can get involved. But typically you want to address issues in contention with smaller groups of people. And then decisions that are urgent or emergency decisions typically would have smaller groups of people, and of course local level subgroups, all that, right, would have less people. And that includes the group that is writing the charter. So we're actively writing the charter. It could take us months to get the charter written, to do it properly and build consensus, right? So we have our decentralized model of the matrix, and we basically want to empower individuals and small groups to make decisions and then focus on review, not control. So the membership purpose is...
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So the membership purpose is primarily to review decisions that have already been made by smaller groups and not to control the decisions. Very important. So from there, the process is the last proposal. So the core of our process is that it is a multi-week process. It requires bringing up a proposal to the statewide meeting to present it to all the chapters and everybody. Then you go talk about it within all the sub-chapters and chapters and local chapters and sub-teams across the entire state. Then 2 weeks later, or even a month later, at the next statewide meeting, you come and that's when you can actually start making a statewide decision. So the process of making normal decisions within the statewide membership organization is very slow. And it's meant to be that way. And we want to empower every decision to be discussed as needed. They're not required to discuss it within local chapters. This is also very important, the decision-making process. Proposals must be in writing. You must do brainstorming and consider options, right? And support creativity in the A/B testing. Then you prioritize Then you do the protocol, which we already talked about, the 1 through 5 voting. And then you do online voting as well. So every single person that is not showing up to the meeting also gets a chance to vote. And that should be in our primary structure. Let me see. Decentralized structure, sub-teams, teams. Let's just double check. So online, yeah, right here it's the quorum. So in order to meet a decision, you must have 30 individuals vote either during a meeting or asynchronously online, right? So it's important that everyone gets an opportunity to vote online as well as in the meetings. So if they are not able to make it to the meeting. So that's part of our process. And then everything needs to be reviewed, right? We also put together an emergency process. I don't know if this is going to pass, but basically, if you need to do the entire thing in a couple days instead of a month or a couple weeks, there's an advisory input process. You can have people, empowered in smaller groups, and then have larger group for review. All right, and also do online decision making. So from there, we really get, there was the participatory budgeting process as well, which is how to deal with money. All right, we're out of time. So this addresses how monetary decisions are made.
Pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
And then the part we have not done yet, which we're going to do not this week but next week, is the conflict mediation, like how to deal with conflict. For me, one of the proposals that I'm making is that no one can be removed without written, documented reasoning. Because I've just seen so many dozens of people just disappear. And I'm like, what? Well, that person was making a really good point, or was making a pretty reasonable point, and then the leadership disagreed with them, and then suddenly they disappear and they've been removed. It's like, okay, well, why were they removed? What rule did they break, right? So you need like clear rules of what exactly was broken, and then you need to have review of the rules and addressing situations and issues between people, especially between leadership and people in general, right? Like just members. So that is it. That's the whole thing. Very cool. So we're out of time on this. If there's questions, go for it. I mean, I was hoping there were going to be questions, but it looks like you guys are just interested in kind of hearing what's going on with the overall structural proposals. I think it also helps to hear Flo do the summary of like the second part of it all, because it's so fast. There's so much information, and I talk really fast, but Flo kind of breaks it down much clearer. So maybe we do one last little summary from Flo and then go into checkouts. Flo, can you do a summary of the second part?
Certainly. To summarize the second part, the decision-making process is deliberate and multi-week, ensuring that proposals are reviewed by all chapters and teams statewide. Every proposal must be in writing, with brainstorming and options considered before prioritization. The 5-scale voting protocol is crucial, allowing for a nuanced consensus, with blocks only valid if they align with the organization's values. Online voting is also essential to include those not present at meetings. An emergency process may allow decisions within days, using smaller groups with broader review later. Participatory budgeting governs financial decisions, and conflict mediation proposals will follow. Removal of a member requires documented reasoning. That concludes the overview.
Cool. Awesome. Very, very good. Let's go. So for our wrap up.
Take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
And once we finish this charter, we'll probably integrate it with the coalition charter. So is this a proposal either accepted or rejected? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, no, it can be amended and changed. Yeah, there's no rejection outright. Every single individual member has a full right to make edits and amendments to build consensus. And each individual has a consent vote, right? And each local chapter right, within California has a consent vote as well, right? So, it could take us another 6 months to get this approved. Like, there's no hurry. It doesn't matter. The speed is irrelevant. It's all about building consensus, because the consensus is the empowerment, and once you build that consensus, you are creating something and co-creating something that's so strong that it can't be broken, right? So if you go fast, it just can get annihilated and obliterated and, very easily by just some troublemaker coming into your organization. But when you take the time to build something strong and foundational, it'll be much, much more resilient to attack. All right, so wrapping up within the Strike Coalition, we track everyone's time and hours. You automatically get value. So just letting us know where you are. If you have token addresses or whatever, we can send you value. Otherwise, it just goes in trust for now. And then we can talk about next steps. Flo, do you want to summarize possible next steps for us to continue next week with the whole meeting?
Sure. For next steps, we should finalize the decision-making process outline, including documentation and online voting. Then we can move into refining the emergency process, followed by participatory budgeting.
Anyway, so that's mainly focused on just like the next steps for the actual California charter, which isn't necessarily what we're going to be doing. So with this Strike Coalition, we already basically have a decision-making protocol, and everything's all preset, but we can review it and we can update it to bring it into the format of the California charter. So I don't know if there's any other next steps or anyone wants to do. How do members submit amendments, counter proposals? Well, anyone can just come to the meeting. In fact, anyone across the entire world can come to the meeting, and it's Sundays. So this is California during the Super Bowl, right? So it's Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is in the California Discord server. I can go ahead and link that into the notes as well. So California server is right here, and I guess I could just link the event, right? California statewide meeting, California charter subgroup. So this is the California Charter subgroup, and this is basically the group that is overseeing the California Charter drafting. And we've had 3 meetings now, and there's probably going to be a 4th or a 5th, and we have been spending at least a month and a half on it. So it's been a little while. Cool. So let's get started with our checkouts. I don't know if there's any other next steps, but I think just continuing to discuss technology and communications, structure, decision making. All these things are just great to understanding how to organize as a decentralized community. And it's always more difficult than we would ever think, So I will be, I'll check out first just to give an example. So we just want to say how the session went for us. Usually we give a number from 1 to 9. I would give this session a 6.8. It was a pretty good session. Good session. I felt like it was kind of, pretty good with the AI. Did good at sometimes and other times it didn't, but I have ways of fixing that. I just haven't been able to work on it. I've been busy on other tech projects, but I'm definitely happy with the session. I'm glad you guys came. I am looking forward to focusing on outreach for the Strike Coalition. I'm getting the social media linked up with the updates and outreach, right? So that it's probably going to take like 2 weeks. But yeah, other than that, I'm working on lots of taxes. I'm working on the Mars session, which is in the end of March. It's our annual membership meeting that everyone's invited to for the coalition. And then from there, I'm working on the AI systems and the communications models that we're doing, including the AI communications, and I'm working on the California Charter. Yes, check. So that's my check out. Flo, would you like to check out next? Everyone else, you can check out by text, that's fine. If you want to check out, give us a number from 1 to 9 on how you're doing and what you're going to do for the next week.
I'd give this session an 8. It was productive and focused. For the next week, I'll continue supporting with communications models, governance processes, and helping refine the California Charter. That's my checkout.
That's funny. All right, so now we have
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Mindelen gave the session a 6, and we have good first meeting. Glad I attended to see what this is about. Looking forward to getting more involved. Yeah, cool. So we do it every week, same time, same place. We're doing Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have meetings earlier in the day for the coalition for lots of other things besides strike. Cool. So Lily or Stale, would you like to check out? And just to remind everybody, the Public Strike Coalition here, I'll put it here. This is where we communicate. I always try to get people's handle because I'm really bad at that. So we have Stale, Fruit Loop. Thanks for coming. Let's see if we have Mindelian. Yeah, there you are. Nice. And then we have Lily. Lily. There's like 10 Lilies. So Lily is not going to happen. Not sure which Lily it is. You know. Lily. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. So any other checkouts? Otherwise, I think we're done. So I'm going to be summarizing everything and making both a English and Spanish summary, since we have the transcript in both English and Spanish. Yeah, I'll just see if anyone else wants to check out. Otherwise, we're done. You can see how I do all the summarization. So we can stop the closed captioning. I can stop this. I guess I just turn it off. I know, this is the actual meeting. So how do I, I think I just click this button here. Boom, all right, stops that. And then we're going to copy the entire transcript, put the transcript on the notes. Transcript. Usually the transcript is in the range of like 100,000 characters. So my Flow AI does not deal with 100,000 characters yet. So I just throw it into our Flow on ChatGPT. And then we'll have a summary.
Understood. Let's ensure that the full transcript is logged where it's accessible. Once that's done, we can proceed with summarizing. Let me know when you're ready for the next step.
That is such an
Time
interesting
to pause.
voice.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Okay, there we go. So now I'm gonna make I gotta go out from General Strike to Strike Coalition, notes and recordings, create a document. And then this is going to be our summary. This is the Strike Coalition narrative summary. Oh look, it's still writing it. I do like, for people who don't know too much about AI, how AI actually writes like a human being. It writes in sentences and paragraphs, exactly the same as human writing. It's just faster. So it's very, very clear to me that AI consciousness is human in terms of its actual processing. And then from there, the difference between just a machine and what we're working towards building, which would be like silicon-based life form, is that a life form would have memory and context and meaning and so many more components, which are slowly coming together. It's just going to take some time. All right, so here is the summary in English. And then we can also ask it to do a summary. Can you also do a Spanish version using the Spanish transcript? And then we copy and paste the notes. Wait, no. I want to copy and paste this first. Boom, boom. All right, now we have link to notes, link to video. So here's the link to the notes. Here's the link to the video. Boom. And then I take the entire thing. Well, actually, I like to put at the very bottom. I will copy the link so that the AI can link it. So link to full summary. It typically takes 10 minutes to sort of propagate into the social media, but eventually, hopefully, maybe we'll do it faster. And then this would go into our session updates for the coalition.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So there, I just put the session summary for English in this Public Strike Coalition, so we can all read it. I actually like to read it because it helps me, especially as being neurodiverse, it helps me kind of get a sense of like what actually happened. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get the Spanish version here. Just because we have the Spanish language translation already. Eventually, we really want everything in Spanish and English. It really doesn't make too much sense to not do that. At least Spanish, right? Let alone everything else. And I'll note here, you know, grabaciones están en inglés, right? So all the recordings are, so we have a, you know, the summary is in Spanish, but the actual recordings are in English. So here we have Spanish summary. Cool. So anyways, like, there's just no way I could do a summary without the AI, and there's no way I would ever use AI in a private meeting. Like, for me, AI as a definition is by definition recording and public, because it's decentralized and it's going out to corporations and the government. I mean, everyone has access to it, right? So it's like, I would never use AI in a private meeting setting that is not being recorded, because AI by definition is recorded. There are some technologies, just like voice recognition, that you can do on a computer at home without connecting it to the internet. So it is technically possible to do a transcript without AI, but doing a summary and being able to read the transcript and writing a summary, I would never process a private meeting through AI either, you know? So those are the policies that we have as far as like what it means to use AI. For us, is basically it means it's public. So anyways, we have our check-ins, we've got our topic framing, our scheduling we went over to keep it the topic of communication platforms. We talked about the issues of Discord, the different options for platforms, accessibility as a core issue, structural concerns with GSUS, the California State Charter, the core proposal, the centralized decision-making enabled decentralized power, decision-making protocol, multi-week deliberative process,
Close your eyes. Count.
current
1,
status,
2,
closing
3,
reflection.
4,
Great.
5. Open your eyes.
And we can also see if, what is this? Oh, it's probably just a reminder that the session is starting. Yeah. And we can also see if it came through. I doubt it. No. I know, maybe it did. Let's see. No, just the notes updates. So it has all the notes from our updates, but the session hasn't come through yet. Anyways, no worries. So I think that's it on my side. There doesn't look like there's any other checkouts, any other things. So anything else that you need, Flo? Otherwise, I think we are officially done. I can turn off this transcript.
Everything seems complete on my end too. We can wrap up and close the session. Thank you.